I want to talk about Unity apps and trying to make your app look good on every device type, whether it's a phone or a tablet. So I'm just going to create a 2D test project here. And in my little sample scene, I'm going to add a text and a button just so that we have something in there. I'll import Text Mesh Pro Essentials. Okay, so I've arranged that text at the top part of the screen just to say the word welcome, and I'm going to also add a button to this canvas. All right, so one of the things that might help make this look good on different devices is anchoring certain elements in the position you want. So if the welcome, I always want it to be centered and I always want to be anchored toward the top, I could select that as the anchor position. And for this button down here, I could select, well, I always want that anchored to the bottom of the screen. That's possible. Right now, this is not really simulating a certain iPhone or tablet or something. So if you want to see what it would look like on the different device types, go to File and then Build Settings. And then if you have downloaded the iOS or the Android libraries, then you'll be able to select those and say Switch Platform. And this may take a second. And once you've switched to the iOS or the Android platform, then when you're looking at your game, when you're trying to run it and see what it would look like, there's a pull down menu for the different device types. So how does it look on an iPhone SE first generation? Looks like we're making a landscape game, so I would pick that. How does it look like look on some of the other landscape things? And you'll notice it's going to look quite different on some of the devices. So might not look very good at all on that iPhone 12. And if we get to the iPads, it's going to look even, teeny tiny little font. That's not exactly what we want. So how do we make it look good on every possible device? If you were not able to switch to the iOS because you don't have that library downloaded, go to Unity Hub. And from Unity Hub, go to the installs, and then you can decide what you want to install. So you could add modules. And for the app development I do for mobile devices, I always make sure that I've got the Android build support and the iOS build support. Oh, there it is, iOS build support. And I've already got those installed. You can see it says installed. All right, so if this isn't what I want, if I don't want it to look like this on an iPad, the first thing I would do is find the device size that looks the best. So if this is the best look of all the different devices, I would look at the dimensions of that. So if the app really looks very good at 1,136 by 640. So the long number there, that's the width here, and the short number is the height. So I'm going to go over and select Canvas, and on the right side with the properties about the canvas, where it says Canvas Scaler, constant pixel size, I'm going to switch that to scale with screen size. And those dimensions that I wrote down on a piece of paper, so the X direction and the Y direction, I'm going to try plugging in those numbers. So 1136 and 640 were the dimensions where I thought it looked the best. And then there's also, I can say, do I want to match the width or the height and expand or shrink? I'm going to leave that first thing checked. And for me, you can't always make it look perfect because the iPads are sometimes more of a square and the phones are more of a rectangle. So if it has to choose, should it err on the side of making the height look good or the width look good? Usually somewhere in the middle, but I'm going to say making the height look good. I'm going to err toward that side. So now with all those set, when I hit play, and then I will go ahead and check and see how does this look in those different devices now. I'm going to pick the landscape ones. Still looks pretty good. Try the different phone size. And the height always looks good. Sometimes I've got some extra real estate on the sides there, but a good background picture could help make that look better. And it's looking much better on all these landscapes. Even when I start to get into the iPads, it looks pretty good on those. So that's one technique. So I opened it to a different project, one of the apps that I've released on Android and iOS, which is Protect TD, a tower defense game. And if I look at what does this look like on iPads, so the different iPads, this one is a landscape game. The different iPads are more of a square shape. And if I compare that opening screen to some of the phones, well, there's actually an extra background image that is visible on some of the phones and not on the tablets. So having a background picture that has non-essential elements on the sides there, so you can see something interesting if you're in a rectangle kind of view like some of the phones are, but not a critical button that you're not going to be able to see. So on the iPads, I've got this button anchored, so it's always in the lower right-hand corner, no matter how big the screen is. And it's okay that we lose some of that background image. There aren't any buttons that you would need to click on the side image. It doesn't look great here, so I would say I could probably stand to keep working on that. But having it look good on every device is a very difficult task. If you have any suggestions on how to make the apps look good on every possible device, go ahead and add them in the comments. Happy programming!